What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my review of the Lectric XP Lite e-bike. So is this the best e-bike for under $800? Well, in this video, we're gonna find out. Now, I'd like to thank Lectric for being kind enough for providing this bike to me for this review. And what's especially really cool about this company is that they're actually based in my own city. So Lectric is based out of Phoenix, Arizona. So instead of sending this bike out to me, they actually invited me to their headquarters and I was able to actually pick up the bike myself. Now, their headquarters is really impressive. And if you happen to be located in Phoenix, or if you're visiting for some reason, you can actually go to their headquarters and check out their showroom that is open to the public. Now, what's really awesome about their showroom is that you can see all their various e-bikes out on display, and you can even go for a test ride if you want to. Now, what's also great is that Lectric ships all around the US and also around the world. So no matter where you are, you can definitely be a customer of this company. Now, what's especially awesome about Lectric and what I saw personally when touring their headquarters is that they really care about the customer. Customer satisfaction is definitely their #1 priority, and to achieve this, they've actually brought nearly all of their operations within the headquarters itself. So for example, there's a section of the headquarters with a dedicated customer service team. They also have another part of their headquarters for management, as you can imagine. There's also an area where they actually create tutorials and various videos in-house, so they have their own in-house production studio. And then also in another part of their headquarters, they have a dedicated space that's an entire shop dedicated to e-bike maintenance. Now, if there happen to be any really big problems with your bike, you can always send it in to them, but I'd imagine that most issues, if they even happen to be any, can be resolved via their customer service team. So I guess my point is that what's really cool about this company is that they want to make sure that they're in full control of all aspects that impact the consumer, so that you have the best experience possible. So again, if you happen to be in the Phoenix area, I highly recommend paying them a visit and checking out everything that they have to offer. And with all that said, let's talk a bit more about the Lectric XP Lite. Now, the first thing is, with this e-bike, they definitely prioritize portability. So the bike can fold up completely, which I will be showing you in a little bit later on in the video how exactly that works. But the total bike weight is only 46 pounds, and then without the battery, the bike is then 39 pounds. The bike features a maximum payload capacity of 275 pounds, and it is offered in 4 different colors, including Midnight Black, Sandstorm, Arctic White, which is the one that I have, and then also Electric Blue. Now, as far as the strength of the motor in this e-bike, it features a 300 watt nominal, 720 watt peak planetary geared motor. And you can actually use this e-bike as either a Class 1 or Class 2 e-bike. If you want to, you can just use the throttle the entire time, and the bike does feature a maximum speed of 20 miles per hour. Now, if you want to, you can use this bike without any assistance. You can also use it in some of the lower levels as well, if you do prefer to use a bit more of your own strength to make the e-bike go forward. So this e-bike does feature 5 different modes, and level 5 is definitely the fastest of them all. Essentially, with level 5, you can go very fast, very quickly with this e-bike. I'm also a big fan of the twist throttle that we're getting with the e-bike itself, as it does make it very comfortable to use the throttle, almost similar to a motorcycle in a sense. Now, the amount of mileage that you'll be getting out of this e-bike definitely depends on which level you have it in. So with level 5, you're gonna get the least amount of mileage, but on the other hand, with level 1 or 0, you'd be getting the most. Now, level 0 doesn't even provide any sort of assistance, so if you have the bike in level 1, you'll be able to get up to 45 miles on a single charge. Now, from my personal experience with level 5, if you just keep it in that level the whole time, you'll probably be getting about 15 miles out of the e-bike, but you're getting some serious power out of the e-bike having it in that mode. Now, the 48-volt battery is located in this part of the e-bike, and if you do fold this in half, you can actually remove the battery if you want to, so you don't have to charge the battery necessarily if it's in the e-bike itself. So that's really convenient for 2 reasons. If you're located in an apartment, maybe you don't really have an easy way to charge your e-bike at your apartment's bike rack, then you can always take out the battery, take it into your unit, and then charge it there. Another cool thing too is that Lectric does offer additional batteries that you can buy. So if you want to have a spare battery on you, or if you just want to quickly swap batteries to have an instant full charge, you can always do that. Now, another thing I want to make a comment on as well is the actual look of the e-bike itself. Now, of course, the way it works and how reliable it is, that's all very important, but you also want to ride on something that looks kind of cool, or at least that's somewhat important to me. Now, I'm a big fan of the color of the bike. Like I mentioned, it is offered in 3 additional colors too, and I think all of them look great. So it was kind of tough for me to pick which color I wanted, but I think this looks really sharp. It's almost like a panda look to it in a sense, so I think it looks really cool. Now at level 5, honestly, you barely even have to pedal at all, and the bike immediately starts going at the top speed. So that's definitely great if you're trying to get to your destination very quickly with the least amount of physical effort. But at the same time, if you want the most amount of range and you still want to participate a little bit when it comes to actually riding the bike, then maybe doing level 2 or 3 might be more ideal for you. But I use my e-bikes for a variety of different reasons. Of course, I'll use them for general transportation, also for fun. So in certain situations, it makes sense to put the bike in different modes. Now, if I know I'm going a really long distance and I want to make sure I maximize the amount of distance I get out of the bike without the battery going to 0, then I probably wouldn't use level 5, because after about 10 miles or 12 miles, you do start to notice that the bike itself does get a little bit low on battery power. But in exchange for that, you can really fly here and go really fast and cover a lot of ground. In my area especially, there's a bunch of these dedicated bike trails, so I can really comfortably travel down them and not have to worry about getting involved with any cars or anything like that. So certainly a lot of different ways to use this bike, which is why they have a lot of different modes available. So this bike is very comfortable to ride, and that's especially impressive considering that the Lectric XP Lite is meant to be kind of a more affordable, almost budget type of option. But I do not get tired of sitting on the bike and riding it for long distances. The seat has a nice amount of padding to it, so that doesn't make it a problem to sit on it for a long period of time. And then also just the general form factor of the bike just makes it comfortable. And the seat has a lot of adjustments too. I can make it go really high up, and I'm 6 feet tall and I don't even have the seat at its highest level. So if you are taller, then just know that that's not really a problem here. Now I'm gonna shift up to level 4, and immediately I noticed that there's a pretty dramatic increase in the assistance the bike provides. So I would say level 3, level 4 is kind of that right balance where you do get a little bit extra ability to cover more distance, but at the same time, you're not using up all of your battery very quickly. But I'll be honest, level 5 is definitely the most fun level of all the various levels here with the bike. Another thing I noticed about the Lectric XP Lite is that despite this bike not having any suspension, it's also very smooth to ride. And I think a big reason for that is because the tires that we have on here are pretty thick in general, so it makes the riding experience a lot better overall. Even compared to other bikes that I've used where maybe they have suspension, but the tires are really skinny, you get a lot smoother of an experience here with this bike. Fast acceleration is great for multiple reasons. Of course, it's nice just to be able to get started very quickly, but also if you're at a situation where maybe you're at a traffic light and you need to get started again, being able to quickly accelerate really makes the process a lot easier and honestly safer as well. But it's really relaxing just being able to ride the bike out here on the canal paths and just being able to relax and get out there in nature. And at the same time, you know, if I want to get a nice workout out of the bike, I can go in a lower mode, but if I just want to cruise and have a good time and kind of get around quite a bit, then level 5 is definitely ideal for that. But riding around my e-bike has definitely turned into one of my favorite hobbies, pastimes. I really didn't realize until I got my first e-bike how awesome it really is just to be able to cruise around town. And one thing for me as well, in the area I'm in, things are relatively spread out. So if I do want to use a traditional bike, you know, things do work pretty well with that. But at the same time, having an e-bike really makes it a lot easier if I just want to ride out and grab groceries or something like that. It really saves me a lot of time. And at the same time too, I'm still able to, you know, not use my car quite as much and get out there and just, you know, get some fresh air in general. Now my area is very flat, so there's not a lot of opportunities to really test out how this bike performs on inclines. However, there is this pretty steep pedestrian bridge up here, which I'll be taking us up in a second. And I think that's a good opportunity for you to get an idea of really how much assistance this bike provides, and especially in situations where there is an incline. Well, let's give it a try right now. So with the XP Lite, it is so easy. I don't have to pedal if I don't want to. However, sometimes I do prefer to. But I'm able to get up this hill on this bridge with no problem at all. So the e-bike is definitely doing its job and 100% living up to the hype. So I'm just able to cruise and have a fun time and see some sights. Here's the view from the top. You can kind of see through the fence. But yeah, really awesome. And like I said, it's a pretty decent incline here. So it's really cool how this makes it so easy. So I now have the bike in level 5, and I'm just gonna do the throttle, and that's it. So the max speed is typically around 20 miles an hour. So let's see from 0 to 20 miles an hour how long it takes. So we're now at 0, and then I'm gonna put the throttle in the full position right now. We're now at 10 miles an hour. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 20 right there. Now, in addition to the actual bike itself, there are some other things included as well. And one of those is the charger. Definitely very important. Now, things are pretty straightforward when it comes to recharging the bike. There is a port on the side here for very easy access to the battery. And as I mentioned earlier on in the video, it is really nice that you can either recharge the bike with the battery in it, or if you want to, you can remove the battery and recharge it on its own. And then also included is a key. In fact, we actually get 2 keys included with the bike itself. Now, from a security perspective, it's really nice there is a key, especially because I have used other e-bikes in the past that really have no form of security at all. So I do like that you do need a key to ride the bike. On the other hand, the downside is I have to keep track of this key. And I really would have preferred to have some sort of PIN code or something like that, just so that I don't have to have yet another key in my life. And I also can't put the key on my main lanyard with my other keys because the key goes in here at the bottom of the bike, which makes sense, that's fine, but I can't have all my other keys dangling off as well when I'm riding. So I'm now going to show you the process of how to remove the battery here on the Lectric XP Lite. So right now, everything is in its full locked position, but essentially I'm going to grab this lever here and release that. Then from there, I'm going to make sure the key is still in the off position, which it is. So then at this point, you're going to push the key up slightly, turn so that this little metal piece slides in. Then from there, we can now fold the bike in half, just like that. And it is nice too that there is this piece of the frame here that the bike kind of rests on. So now that that little metal piece has been brought in by the key, and then the bike has now been folded open, we now need to pull the key out, and then from there, the battery slides right out. So as you can see, it is a pretty large battery in general. But then from here, you can simply charge right there at that port, and then you can go ahead and recharge this, or if you happen to have a second extra battery, you can put that in the bike and continue riding. But now that the bike has been partially folded, let me show you how we can take it a step further so that if you want to put it in a car or maybe in a bus or something like that, it's a lot easier to move around here as this bike can really shrink down to a very small, compact size. So as you can see, the bike has been folded in half. And then the next step here is to fold down the handlebars. So there's a knob to grab onto here, and then we can just release the handlebar just like that. It then folds down, which is great. And then now we can fold the bike even further in. So there we go, it's folded that way. And then if we want to take a step further, you can even move the seat all the way down. And then now you can see how compact the Lectric XP Lite can really get. Then from there, you can just pick it up and take it wherever you need to take it. So in conclusion, I'm a big fan of the Lectric XP Lite e-bike. For a bike that is relatively affordable, you're getting a lot of value here. And especially compared to all the other options out there, it's really hard, if not impossible, to find another e-bike that can get you this much for your money. Now, prior to testing out this e-bike in general, I kind of stayed away from that particular price range, but this has definitely changed my mind. If you are a first timer especially, and you want to try out an e-bike and get the full experience, but without really too many compromises at all, then I definitely think this is a worthy option worth considering. So if you haven't noticed from this video, I definitely highly recommend the Lectric XP Lite. Now, of course, if you do want to spend a bit more, you can get a e-bike that has many more capabilities. But for what it is here and for what it's advertised as, you're getting as much, if not more, than what you'd probably expect. So again, thank you to Lectric for being kind enough for setting me up with this e-bike. And if you want to learn more about the bike and potentially purchase one, definitely take a look at my affiliate link in the video description. But this is Kevin here with my review of the Lectric XP Lite. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.